For those of you listening on iTunes, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast, for those of you watching or on YouTube, or for those of you watching on Periscope, we have an exciting announcement. This Sunday, we will be joined by the Sideline Guys, Jeremiah Johnson and Pat Boylan. They'll be joining us at Coach's Tavern. We're going to have a fun show. We're going to do our regular show with them involved, and then we're going to ask them some questions. If you have your questions of your own, submit them, and maybe we'll ask them on the show. But that's pretty fun. Come join us. We're thinking about 9 p.m. once Pat and Jeremiah are done with all of their duties, that their real job is a part of. But let's get started here with our first word. Zach.
Yes.
Your first word. What's your first word? No, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't want to take over your rant zone.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so my first word, and Alex will probably expand upon this later, is Myles Turner, please get back in the post. Stop taking these jump shots. You're supposed to be the leader or one of the leaders of this team, the future of the franchise. Come on, man. You're the center. Stop taking these jumpers. Post up. Put some weight on the weight room. Put your butt into somebody and just back them down. That's my first word.
Ross?
Nice. My first word is learning curve. It's 2 words, I know. This team, last 4 or 5 games now, get off to the hot start, can't close out at the end. Chalk it up to coaching, chalk it up to a young team, still learning each other, learning the system, developing as NBA players, haven't played with the full roster yet. Pacer fans, expect this. Don't get mad at it. I know the last couple games, Pacers probably should have had those wins. They definitely had the opportunity to win those games. But it is a young team, and losses really aren't that bad, right? It's going to help you with the draft pick. It's going to help them learn and develop, hopefully. So you're going to see a lot more as the season goes on. Don't be upset. Don't go too far the other way. That's all I got.
No, I completely agree. My rant is something that Pacers Soul and I were kind of going at back and forth today. It's about coaching, and they've lost 4 games in a row now. The first 3 against the 76ers, the Knicks, and then the Pelicans last night on November 7th. All of those losses, the Pacers had double-digit leads, or I guess in the 76ers game they had a 9-point lead. But they had a problem with the adjustments that teams were making in the second half. So what I mean by adjustments is the other team was no longer letting the Pacers attack them on the pick and roll. They were switching. And the Pacers have smaller guards. Darren Collison, Corey Joseph, Joe Young are smaller guards. The Pacers weren't adjusting to that. They're also slowing down the games. The Pacers scored 75 points last night. Then scored, I think, 39 in the second half. So teams are bogging down the paint. They're not committing to as many turnovers, so that means less pace. And there was a great article today written on IndyCornrows.com. I retweeted it by C2_Cooper, just about what's going on in the fourth quarter, in the second half. And really what's happening is there's less transition buckets. They're relying more on Oladipo because he's proven himself early in the season. There's less movement of the ball. There's more isolation. There's more strictly high pick and roll. There's less action on the court. So when you watch a team like the Warriors, yes, they have all the talent in the world, but they're able to pass, screen away. They're able to move the ball. They're not able to create offense, not just waiting for something to develop. There's always action because they're not waiting for something to happen. They're always initiating. They run actions until the other team makes a mistake, and that's why they're so good. I mean, also they have Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. But you get my point, is that I don't think Nate McMillan, the coaching staff, sometimes do a great job, especially during those timeouts. I think about the Knicks game. We didn't run a single play in the last 6-7 minutes of the game. It was all high pick and roll. Even when we call timeouts, you want to run, when your team is bleeding offensively, you want to run your best possible play you can think of and run it so at least the bleeding stops. Someone gets a bucket. There's some confidence that starts to build back up. Right now with this Pacers team, it feels like, of course, we don't have a go-to guy, but they just need some action. They need some easier motion in their offense. Otherwise, this team is just going to continue to get stagnant, especially when you don't have a Paul George to bail you out with a tough shot. So,
first word.
That was my first word.
Get it out there. Just say it all.
Get out there. So, to recap here what happened in the last few games, 4 consecutive losses. They lose to the 76ers. Redick got hot there. Looked like he got a little mad with Oladipo talking a little trash and went off in the last few minutes. New York Knicks, Porzingis went off. They had a big lead. They let that one slip away. They lost against the Pelicans, 75 points at half, 37 in the second half. Thank you, Ross. Davis and Boogie. We were actually looking forward to that matchup to see Sabonis and Turner, but Sabonis didn't play. And then they lost again tonight versus the Pistons of Detroit. Myles, 8 shots? 8 points.
8 shots. He only
shots?
took 8 shots.
And he had 8 points?
Correct.
So a lot of struggles right now, offensively and defensively. What are the things that stick out to you guys the most right now?
Well, I've already said Myles Turner not getting in the paint, taking too many jumpers. A lot of ISO ball, especially like you brought out at the end of the games. I don't know what Nate McMillan is thinking. From the very beginning, I said I didn't like Nate McMillan as the coach. I gave him props last week for the offense. That was my problem. He probably listened to the show and was like, oh, look, they like the offense I'm running. Well, the problem was when I gave you those compliments, I mentioned that you were doing the pick and roll, and you're not doing the pick and roll right now.
Well, yeah, and a lot of it is, Oladipo had that nice little run there last week when the Pacers beat Cleveland, they beat San Antonio. He was on top of his game. He was Eastern Conference Player of the Week. But as he's struggling right now, you can't continuously put that load on him. And for those listening on Periscope, please tell us what you think the biggest problem for the Pacers is. Ross, what's your biggest
Tonight
problem
against
that stands
Detroit,
out?
Oladipo was a ±-20, had 21 points, but on 38% shooting. So, yeah, that's not the greatest. No, my biggest problem I see is what I kind of talked about in the beginning is the fourth quarter woes that the Pacers are having, but I chalk that up to coaching, youth, all of that combined. You got to be able to, you learn from that. Coach has to get him in better rhythm. You guys touch on all that kind of stuff.
And one thing that's hurting them right now is not having Sabonis.
Yeah.
Sabonis is a way better pick and roll player than Myles Turner is.
Sadly, yes.
Catching passes, passing the ball,
setting
and
screens,
finishing, taking it to the paint and taking the contact, trying to make contact on his layups. Look, we did have a reply. We've already got something from Jake Masters.
I saw. I'm not going to talk about it.
What did he say?
He said, just take a moment and appreciate the beauty of this pass by Reggie to Dre for posterization of Myles.
Now he wants, he likes Reggie? I thought that was get rid of Reggie.
Well, I think, like you said, I think Sabonis is great out of the pick and roll. Myles Turner is a pick and pop player. He struggles to finish off the catch in the pick and roll in the paint. He struggles to finish when there's guys at the rim meeting him at the rim. I think, that'll something he'll develop into. But Sabonis, we can't talk enough about what he's done for this team. Al Jefferson, I think he said he's like a quarterback out there for the offense because he can pass it to guys when they need the ball. He can put them in the right direction. And right now they're just struggling to find. Well, they're giving up the most points in the paint in the NBA. So that's a pretty glaring red flag. But they really need to get the ball moving again. They got to find some more lineups that work. TJ Leaf is struggling as of late. I think he's just tentative. I don't think they should have rushed him back after that ankle injury because it looked like against the Pelicans he was just hesitant. He didn't have any lift, and he bounced to him. But I'll leave that to the medical staff. But, last week, like we said, I think it was my first word. It's going to be an up and down season. Right now, we're in the down part.
Didn't we all call like a 5-game winning streak?
Yeah, that was a stupid. We should have
Don't
looked
listen.
ourselves.
No.
Well, listen to us.
Realistically, though, these were teams we should have beat.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we're playing the Warriors, the Rockets, anybody like that. We're playing.
Well, we just beat the Cavs, the Spurs, and then
that's my thing. It's like we're playing the Pelicans, the Knicks, everybody like that, and you're thinking, the way we're playing right now, we should win these games. So I guess we were just too optimistic as Pacers fans on that one.
Well, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a lot of up and downs. So the biggest news of note was really, I guess, the Sabonis has been out now 2 games. So the Pacers have lost their 2 big men. I think now a total of 10 games total. I think Myles missed 8. Or how many games did he miss? Around 6 or 8?
I can't remember,
So they missed their 2 big men a lot. And Sabonis has shown a lot. I think he surprised a lot of Pacers fans, obviously, and we're going to need him back.
We have a fan question about it later when we get there. But
So, actually, let's just dive right into the fan questions because I think we can cover a lot of what we've been talking about.
When we touch on it, so the first question, Zach Grinslade. Thank you for the question, Z Grinslade on Twitter. He has 2 questions. I can't word it right. Is this 3-game losing streak? Well, now it's 4.
Yeah.
3-game losing streak, just bad execution, growing pains, or lack of adjustments from Nate and company. We kind of already really touched on that. I think we all feel it's kind of a combo. Some of us maybe feel more towards coaching. Anything more to add on it? We didn't
read the whole question.
Well, I was going to touch on that. We'll go to the next one.
Well, go ahead.
Well, like I said, we've already talked about it, but there's Nate McMillan's adjustments. It seems like first half of games we played great. Second half of these last 4 games we played terrible.
Oh, this brings me back. Okay, go finish.
But it's just basically saying everybody adjusts to us, but he doesn't adjust to them.
Yeah. Well, so there's a big, we can throw out all this NBA basketball jargon and sound really smart, like adjustments and, motion and all that stuff. But really it's at halftime of every NBA game, and also college, high school, whatever, the coaches come together and they talk about what worked in the first half, what didn't, what do we need to change in the second half. And NBA teams, when we've had a lead, that means that the other team, like there's probably something glaring that they're not doing, and so they're making the appropriate adjustments. Now, usually the team who's down in the first half makes a little bit of a run in the second half because they're able to, fix what needed to be fixed, and then the other team, it's a game of chess. They've got to, well, we're not going to switch to pick and rolls. We're gonna bump the pick and rolls. We're gonna double him. We're gonna hedge on ball screens. There's a ton of different stuff we can talk about, but it just doesn't feel like the Pacers are able to, okay, sure, the Knicks made a 10-point run. Okay, let's call a timeout. What can we do here? Okay, so Porzingis is hot. We're gonna double him every time he gets the ball, or we're going to push him out on ball screens. It just doesn't feel like there's enough.
Needs more time.
Yeah.
His timeouts are long enough. He's got to have a whole half time to go through that stuff.
I told Ross on the way here to this undisclosed location, just like in the NFL, the first drive for almost every NFL team, regardless of who the quarterback is, goes pretty well. It's scripted.
Yeah.
Exactly. In the NBA, it's the same thing. You probably have 8 plays scripted, and if you get a flow going, the game goes really well. The first half goes really well. In the second half, same type of thing. Early, you kind of have a scripted first few plays, but then it becomes, okay, what's worked, what's not worked? Can my players make the right adjustments on the court? Can Darren Collison, can Corey Joseph call out the right plays? Does Nate McMillan make the right adjustments in timeouts? Does he call them when he needs to? Does he put in the right guys? That's when the chess game starts, because early on, that's, everyone looks good early, but don't be the Brock Osweiler, as I told Ross, the Pacers, don't be the heist, but like he looked good in the first drive because everyone looks good, but then after that, once you have to make live decisions, the game becomes a lot harder, and that's why the good coaches are paid a lot. And I think Nate is a good coach. He's respected by his players, which is a big part of it. Big part of success. Just look at Hoiberg and Jimmy Butler, those comments. We forgot to mention those on our NBA show. But the Pacers just need to reset and make adjustments, not call timeouts and hope that a shot comes. They make a shot,
So would it be better if the Pacers are down at halftime, because then Nate can make the adjustments? All right, we'll make.
Wait, he doesn't make adjustments already.
It feels like they have the lead at halftime. He thinks, "Hey, let's just keep doing what we're doing," while the other team is going, "We got to change it," and then that change happens, and he's like, "Ooh, I don't really know." I don't know. We got in a discussion with a fan on Twitter about why are we, ragging on Nate so much. Why not to? I mean, as we discussed, when the team comes up flat, it's the players and the coach, and the players are young, so you got to go look at the coach.
Players playing coaches coach. Coaches have to put their players in the best position to win, and when you part of putting them in the best position to win is calling timeouts, telling them not what they need to hear, but what they need to do, what they need to know about what the other team is doing. Are they like, okay, Porzingis right now is hot. How are we going to guard the pick and roll, DC and that? Because they had no idea how to guard it, I mean, there's just a lot of things that I feel like we're not, especially at the timeouts, we're just coming out flat. I feel like out of a timeout, you should always have, a play you're about to run, and if you call a timeout, there's something on the defensive end most likely that you're not doing that you need to fix. But, okay. I'm getting
nice.
hot.
Okay, well, back to Zach. He had another Twitter, Zach. One more question, or second part of his question. So, Victor's post-game comments after the Pelicans game, he says, "They impressed me. He took the blame, didn't point fingers. Did we ever see or hear that from an unnamed former player?"
Who's he talking about, CJ?
That's my assumption, yeah, because CJ always talks, after the game.
I don't know if we ever heard that from an unnamed player, but he could be blowing smoke up his butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, the last 2 or 3 games, tonight's game didn't make no difference. Shot terrible. Shot selection was bad.
I think what he's
I
getting
mean,
at.
it's nice to hear that he's going to take accountability
you go.
for it. As Victor said, he's one of the leaders on the team. But at a certain point, it's like put up or shut up. It's like you can't be making excuses all the time. You're getting paid $21 million a year.
Yeah.
You want to be the leader of this team. You want to be the main man. You're the fifth guy announced as you come out. Like you're the
Is he the fifth guy?
He is.
Miles Turner
Yeah.
isn't?
no. Miles is third.
Oh. Wait, he's third?
Miles
Who's
Turner's
fourth?
third.
Victor gets the
Vic-
biggest cheer
I think fourth is that, ain't it?
too. That or so, yeah.
Yeah.
Victor gets a big cheer. The IU faithful
Yeah.
come out pretty
Yeah,
well.
but
So I
how's
mean, I
Miles
appreciate the comments. We never heard that from Agent 13, whatever you want to call him nowadays. But I don't want to hear comments. I want to see action. This
Yeah.
is me.
I mean, I like it from the fact of it was so annoying to kind of hear in the off season or at the celebrity softball game, I want to bring a championship back. I want to bring a championship back. And then the comments after a tough loss or after, Nate wants him to play the 4 is, I don't feel like playing the 4 or, I need the ball in that situation or, some other like LeBron-esque, not throw your team under the bus, but close to that type of comment.
Yeah.
When you're not LeBron James, that's my problem. I like Victor. I like Victor saying, hey, I'm not going to make. He's not trying to make excuses. He's like, I just got to be better. So I think I like that where he's like, I don't want to make excuses. I just got to be better tonight. That's I can't do that.
He didn't say my least favorite thing if they wanted it more or they just tried. Tried harder. That's
No.
I appreciate it.
Everyone tries hard. Okay.
Yeah. So we liked his comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the short version. The next question. David Peck, DPeck523. His question: can Turner and Sabonis be successful on the court together?
Ooh.
If not, do we put one on the trade block? Personally, David thinks Myles nets the most back, and Sabonis would make up for most of what you lose if you were to trade Myles.
Before you get into it, have they played together yet on the court?
I think they did
Sometime.
a couple minutes against
the
Knicks.
the opener at the Nets, and then one game before Sabonis
Yeah,
had the
the
calf
Knicks, right?
contusion. Yeah.
They played
But
against
then
the
there was
Knicks.
foul trouble in that game too, so they haven't played a ton of
They
minutes
played
together.
barely any.
So
Well, let's talk about their games. So Sabonis is a great passer. He runs the pick and roll and pick and pop really well. He runs the pick and roll a lot better than Myles Turner just because he's a bigger body. His game is more take it to the
Wants
basket.
the contact.
Yeah. He's a better post defender.
Rebounder.
Better rebounder. I'll leave some of my stuff for later for the rant zone, but I think they could. But the only problem is
What happens to your bench after that?
it goes back
Yeah.
to the question last week. One has to guard the rim, but one can get rebounds. If you put
Yeah.
one at the 4 versus one at the 5, you're going to have someone who's not near the rim that you'd like him to be.
I don't think they should both start, but I think that they should play some together. Just when they take out Thad.
And as we're saying this, we're busy recording the NBA show that we did not see most of the Pistons game, so they could have played
No,
together.
Sabonis didn't play.
Sabonis
tonight.
was out.
Oh wait, I'm
tonight.
sorry. I forgot Fireball was in my head. Forgot he's hurt
Second
with his
mention
ankle.
of
Can they
Fireball
be
in tonight's
successful in the
show.
court together?
Fireball.
Yes, they can. I go
They
back.
could.
I go
I
back
thought-
to Turner's a third-year player. Sabonis is a second-year player. They've only played together a handful of minutes this season. They're young. It's early. Relax, everybody. Especially if you get to the second part of the question. But I'll let.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been more hesitant on proclaiming Myles Turner to be like I think what a lot of Pacers fans hope he can be, which is a replacement to Paul George and a replacement to kind of like the face of the franchise type of deal. But I still think he's got a lot of potential. Because he's still. I mean, he's younger than I am. He's barely 21 years old.
I see them more as Rick Smith's Dale Davis kind of factor.
Yeah, I don't
future.
think. I mean,
Solid
I'll pull the Bill
foundation.
Simmons, and I don't think either of them are even the second best player on a championship caliber team. I think Sabonis.
Combined, yes.
I think. I mean, we've seen such a small sample size, but that guy looks really talented, and he's only being a second year, and coming from that situation in OKC and stepping in a situation where he's playing a totally different game is really impressive. That's more impressive than his play. Just to go from what he came from, where Russ was the end-all be-all of the team and of the offense, and to come in here and play this well in a totally different environment where there is no all-star stud, that's been really impressive.
And you can totally tell that he is, and this is the reason you have Al Jefferson on the team as well. He is totally taking lessons or learning from Al Jefferson in the postgame offensively. pump faking, spin, up and under. He is, and you'll see him in the pregame warm-ups working with each other, doing moves together.
Yeah.
He has totally taken, Al Jefferson has totally taken him to the side and teaching him his post-up moves, and he's implementing them into the game. I think it was last night someone on Twitter was retweeting a video of him just doing the same move you see Al Horford do, up and under, pump fake.
Yeah.
Al Jefferson, I apologize. But, yeah, I'm on the same level as you. I've told you before, I like Myles Turner. I do not think he's going to be the franchise player. He's a good player. He
may
won't
be
be
an
a great
all-star,
player.
but he's a 2 or a 3 on a really good team. Maybe.
Yeah. And I've said that before, and then I'm going to get bashed for it because there's people out there who are like diehard Pacers fans to the point where we should mention them at being a championship contender now.
We say all this, but
I can't
please,
handle
Myles,
that.
prove us wrong and go out there
Yeah.
and become amazing. So the second part of the question then, guys, do you trade either of them? Excuse me.
No.
They're too young, and there's
Yeah.
no reason. You'd be trading for another young prospect.
Yeah, I feel like if you traded, you're hitting reset again.
You wouldn't get a pick that's higher than where they were picked at.
And yeah, both those guys were 10, 11 or so.
Yeah.
You're
No,
not,
you wouldn't get a
that's
pick higher than that.
and that
not even
pick
close.
spot is so hit or miss. It's
Yeah.
dicey.
I mean, these guys
and they're
could still
so
be in
young.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have 2 lottery picks.
They could still be.
There's a
young.
lot of room to grow in both of them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the next 2 to 3 years, it'll be interesting to see them grow. I think. Don't freak out yet, Pacers fans. Remember, this
People
is
on
a
Periscope,
building season.
which one's your favorite? Myles Turner is Sabonis. Ooh.
Ooh, that don't.
I just want to get some people rolling here on Periscope.
I don't know if I'll do it for you.
Nah,
I'm just kidding.
getting
I'm just
late
kidding.
They
on
won't comment.
All right, come
Wednesday.
here. All right, what's next?
Come here.
Come here, let's go.
Let's go. Next block party. So I was at the game last
That's it
night.
That's it on Pacers questions?
That's all I got. man.
Okay,
That's all I got.
No problem, no
Oh
problem.
no, there one. Sorry.
People had thoughts, but I don't know if
Yeah.
there's technically questions.
We've covered a lot already.
Oh no,
like
we
it.
did have one comment. So does Bojan Bogdanovic look like Austin Crozier?
Well, everybody knows that.
He looks like a European
It's a
Austin
given.
Crozier.
Same number, same haircut. Come on, same style play. Anyway, block party last night against the Pelicans. I was in attendance. Turner's block was bumping. Pacer team was not so much.
so white.
Says everyone at the table is also.
I know,
Occasionally
I know.
color.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
I don't care. I'll say it. I don't care.
I don't even know what I was going to say about the game.
Turner's block was bumping.
Today in my financial management class, they were like, my professor was like, is there anything else we could do in the situation to hedge our exposure? And I was like, you could buy a big old put.
What?
And everyone was like, big old put? Like, who says a big old? And I was like, I don't know, my Indiana is.
Come on, y'all.
My Indiana
Y'all tell
is
you
coming
about
out.
this.
And I was right. You could buy a big old put to hedge your. Anyways.
Anyway, Ross, it was bumping.
It was
Nah, I got nothing else. You
No,
guys
no,
just
talk
mess
about
it
what
up.
happened there.
Mess it up. Well, we already.
Who went with you? Who went with you?
One of our super fans, Devin Brooker. Hope he enjoyed it. Had a good time. We already talked about the game and kind of our recap. That was the game of 75 points at halftime. Someone tweeted me, "You think they're going to hit 150?" I was all optimistic. Yeah, it's in the cards. You got 75 at halftime. They scored 37 in the second half.
It's terrible.
It's not as many.
It was not so good. It was fun watching Boogie Cousins get into it. We tried to get him ejected. He was jawing at the refs. It reminded me of when we had a certain former player
When
who would
doesn't
jaw
he
at the
jaw at
refs
the refs?
every time.
And he cussed out the Pacers fans when he was
Yeah,
leaving for the tunnel.
that's because
I
we
heard.
were chanting stuff at him. It was pretty good. The only funny chant I remember was shave your eyebrow to AD, and then he goes and scores 37 on us. So that may have not
Original.
been a good idea. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of good ones that night.
Ross, what's next?
Pacers trivia.
Ooh, my favorite.
If-
Honestly, my favorite part of every show.
I appreciate that. I put a lot of work into this each week.
I just
looking up
like
some
guessing
good
games.
stats. Yeah, and I try to make it relatively easy. So if you listen to our NBA show, I had an all-star themed because I was looking up Andre Drummond. So I went Pacer themed all-star theme. And on the same vein of Andre Drummond, the first time Roy Hibbert. You remember that player? He
Yep.
used to have a center who was.
He's on the ringer now a lot.
Is he even playing back?
No, he doesn't
No.
play anymore.
First time he was an all-star was 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Conference All-Star team.
Two-time All-Star, right?
Wasn't
I
he
think-
yeah, he was two-time, but the first time he made it was in 2012. So again, can you name the Eastern Conference All-Stars from 2012, just a handful of years ago? Let's go around one at a time.
LeBron James,
Start with the stars. LeBron James, yes.
Carmelo.
Carmelo, correct.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade, correct.
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose, nicely done. That's good. Center. Who's the center starter on the East?
Chris Bosh?
He was off the bench. Nope.
Howard.
Dwight Howard was a starter. Got starters quickly. Nicely done. All right, now go through on the bench. There is one injury replacement player, so got to think of one extra name.
was Hibbert. Wait, we said Hibbert.
Hibbert.
All right.
He
So
counts.
Darren Williams.
Ooh, Darren Williams, nicely
Boom,
done.
baby,
That was one of
boom.
the harder ones, I thought. Okay, keep going. Got a lot of Celtics
Chris
to get
Bosh.
through. We already said Bosch.
Oh, Kevin Garnett,
No.
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce, yes.
Did we say Dang already?
Ray Allen was
Dang was good. Not that was nice.
Ray
Allen was not.
We
not. Rajon Rondo.
Rondo was.
Rondo.
There you go. All right, you got two more. One who was injured and got replaced.
Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson got injured and was replaced. I forget. I think it was Bosch who replaced him. But you're missing one player.
Can you give me his position?
Small forward.
Not for the Pacers.
Nope. He's been on two teams, East and West.
Iguodala. Boom.
Man, Zach was on it this time.
all
talking
over
about.
it. Bonus. Who was the coach?
That would be Tibbs.
Oh my gosh. He's
Oh
on
my
fire.
gosh!
He is on
Don't drop
fire.
the mic, but drop the mic.
Goodness. All right, I know what kind of trivia to
Ugh.
give Zach. That was nicely
That was
done.
good.
That's right. That's right.
See, he knows his stuff.
We've been getting
Nicknames are
better at
hard.
this ever since everybody made fun of us for the nicknames.
Nicknames is hard. That was
Yeah.
tough.
Like 3 hours ago, we were really good since 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
All right, what's
predictions
next here?
We got predictions.
Oh,
coming.
there was a tweet from Hardwood. Oh God,
I don't know how to say it. Disagree.
Paroxysm at HP Basketball, and it was retweeted by a lot of Pacers fans. It wasn't tweeted at us, but I like that Ross chose it. Indiana is a perfect bad team. They're going to lose a ton of games for a good pick while playing fun players and making teams have to play stars and put up numbers to win. I completely agree. That's basically this team.
Yeah, it's like you could be the Suns and be unbearable to watch and you lose, or the Pacers, you lose, but at least you're fun to watch.
Yeah, and you're gonna win some games too. You're
may
gonna
sneak
have a week like last week. We were all gung ho about them, and you're gonna have nights like tonight where they just lost to the
4 in a
Pistons by
row.
17.
Yeah, I need to rethink my predictions from now on. How we're gonna do this?
Okay,
Next, the pickups.
next
Yeah.
we've got the pick'ems. What was it last week? We all picked like
I think we all went 0-4.
So we picked against Philadelphia. We all picked the Pacers. Wrong. Against the Knicks, we all picked the Pacers. Wrong. Against the Pelicans, one person picked the Pelicans. Oh, that was me. Oh, thank you.
I don't like you.
That's all we got. We didn't pick the Pistons game yet.
All right, I
Dang.
picked the Pistons.
Yeah, too late.
I picked the Pistons.
Yeah.
Oh,
I picked-
Ross picked the Pacers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, woo.
stupid.
Woo!
Ross.
Game to game, baby.
Ross, the
Yeah.
game already happened. You still picked the Pacers.
That was dumb. That was really dumb.
Man,
Off
losing
my
sleep
game.
having that baby.
Typical Ross.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Did that 3 times a night.
We got at Chicago first. The Bulls.
Our
So
garbage.
did you hear what Jimmy Butler said?
No.
He was like, he said that the Bulls had to pick between him and Hoiberg, and I've circled that game on my calendar. So he and Hoiberg, not the best of friends.
That's probably not a good decision by the Bulls front office. Just
Well,
just gonna throw it out
If you
there.
hire
team.
Hoiberg, don't sign Rondo and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Can't shoot.
Like you just
outside
picked a
10
guy
feet.
who picked one of the most high shooting 3-point teams in like college basketball history. Then you signed two of like just terrible 3-point shooters. It's just, gosh, Gar Forman
Not very
keeps on
smart.
blowing minds.
And that is why.
Who do you guys got? I've got the Pacers. 'cause
I've
I
got
think
the
I
Pacers.
think they have to.
We're all
come
taking
back.
the Pacers.
I mean, you have to.
You have to. All right. Next, they play the Rockets of Houston, the 3-point shooting bonanza team.
This is a game where like we're gonna lose. I'm gonna say that we'll lose, and then they'll win the game, and then my record will continue to be worse. I cannot. This team is
I
too hard to
definitely
read.
got Houston.
I'm taking Houston.
I've got the Rockets.
I thought so.
Man, I kind of want to pick the Pacers.
I got
No.
the Rockets. I got the Rockets.
No, it's gonna get out of
So
hand
just a
quickly.
reminder again, if you're in the area Sunday evening, come by Coach's Tavern, stop by, meet us, JJ and Pat,
Coach's Tavern on South Pennsylvania Street,
South Pennsylvania.
right near the stadium. Just FYI.
There you go.
I looked it up.
And then lastly, they will be traveling to Memphis, where Chandler Parsons has seen a mini resurgence of sorts. Not really. I definitely have the Grizzlies here. I think Mike Conley is going to shred this team. I think Marc Gasol is going to take us to town. Sorry, I got the Grizzlies. Ooh, you guys are struggling with this one.
This could be because they sneak out wins, like the Timberwolves against the Spurs. I know they're missing players in each of those
Their
games.
schedule,
Pacers?
yeah, it's been tough just travel wise. Like
I feel like it's been a lot on the road.
So
Yeah.
like a lot of back to backs, a lot of 3 games in 4 nights. Just like weird schedules right now. I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
I'm gonna take the Pacers. I decided.
Oof.
Boom.
I'm taking the
Out on a limb.
Grizzlies.
Yeah, of course you would. I shouldn't have talked so fast.
All right, so you do your own pick'ems and let us know how you're doing. I think I'm still winning. I have to be because we all win.
I'll add them up. I'll add 'em up.
I just never usually
just
win
like
in
to-
this, so I want to make sure that everyone knows
There
that I'm
actually
winning
is
now.
nothing happens when we lose or win, so it doesn't really matter.
You
but
feel bad.
It feels good.
You feel
Yeah.
bad. You feel
That's-
bad or you feel good.
It's right inside.
Hmm.
All right, so I have the rant zone, and we've kind of talked a lot about it tonight. I think I tweeted out yesterday. I said, if Myles Turner, and I wrongly said in the same class as Kristaps Porzingis and Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think anyone or most people don't expect him to be that on that level, but looking at him, it's his third season. His first year. Oh shoot! I deleted. 1 second. So Myles Turner, it's the third year. A lot of people have really high expectations for him. I have been in the camp for a long time that I think, yes, he'll be a good player in this league, but there's always been that talk at the end of every season of how he's going to improve, how he's going to add to his game. There was talk, I mean, he worked with Al Jefferson, he's worked with
Jermaine O'Neal.
O'Neal, supposedly, about, improving, and he's talked about how he needs his physical presence. I think last year I brought up how Bill Bano uses those pads before the game to hit him, and he still shies away from contact even from the pads. He has to absorb and embrace the contact for him to reach his potential because he's too big and he's going to go up against guys who are too strong, too fast. Like last night against the Pelicans, I mean, they just ate him alive. The last two last possessions where the Pelicans got offensive rebounds.
Tip foul shot.
Yeah, he tipped that in, by the way.
Yeah.
He definitely tipped that in.
Oops.
But he can't get pushed around like that. I mean, if he wants to be what he talks about being, and I love the way he talks about the team, how he talks about wanting to stay in Indiana. I love all of that. I think he's a great shooter. I think he's a great weak side defender where he can block shots. I think he's great at that. I think he's great at a lot of things. But if we want him to be, if we think he's going to be what we hope, isn't this the year where we see that development? I mean, Porzingis, this is his third year too. Karl Anthony Towns, this is his third year as well. You've got a lot of players who are developing quicker. And I'm not saying, I know this is not saying anything bad about Myles, but do you think, like, what's his ceiling for you?
I was poor man's Bosch.
I'd take that. All-star. That's the third wheel on a
Jumper.
on a good
Shoots
team.
a lot of jumpers.
Yeah.
Can block some shots. Post up occasionally.
Devil's advocate, though. He missed some time the first season. He's played with an unnamed former player a lot who kind of dominated and possibly hindered his growth.
I want to
don't
go
know.
over, though, his so Basketball Reference, some of his advanced stats, which are pretty interesting. So last year, per 36 minutes, he averaged 6.4 rebounds, which is extremely low for a starting center.
Yeah.
The year before, in his rookie year, he actually averaged 7 rebounds per 36 minutes. This year, in limited action, only 4 games, 9.2. But the advanced stats, so they have a defensive rebounding percentage. So it's an estimate of the percentage of available defensive rebounds a player grabbed while he was on the floor. What do you you guys don't have any basis to guess on here, but his rookie year, 21%. It dipped last year to 19.6. He has a trouble blocking out and rebounding. Now, he has the length. He has the arm reach, wingspan. Searching for the word there. But when I say blocking out, that does not just mean like grabbing your guy and going for the rebound. Blocking out implies you first make contact with your guy, you seal him so that he can't get the rebound. They always teach you in like middle school, high school that, if you can't get the rebound, you better make sure that your guy you're blocking out doesn't either. He has trouble doing that. He has trouble getting to the ball quicker. Everyone talked about how he ran and walked even when he came out of the draft because he kind of runs funny. I just think he needs to just embrace like the contact of the game, the physicality of the game for him to be as good as he can be. Because the first play of the game tonight versus Detroit, he hit a ridiculous like coming down, a pin down jump shot fadeaway that went like 20 feet up in the air, and it went in, and it was great. And he hit his first 2 jump shots of the game, but like Ross said, he took 8 shots, had 8 points. He has to get into the paint. He has to attack these guys because if he's not having a good shooting night offensively, he does very little for this team. If he's not hitting threes, he's not affecting the game in ways that he could. And it hurts this team because they need him to be, especially this team, they need him to score. I mean, this is not a team of scorers by any stretch. I mean, Thad's been great early. Victor's been good except for this stretch lately. Atlanta's struggled. I mean, where are you going to get points from? He has to embrace a bigger role in this team, and the only way for that to happen is A, he has an amazing shooting night and finds himself in a groove, or B, he learns to become a more physical player.
Now I feel depressed.
Brain zone. You feel depressed now?
No.
He just said everything I was thinking,
No.
just more eloquently.
My only devil's advocate side is what I mentioned earlier. His season's young. He's a young player. But yeah, year 3 and 4 is when players show if they actually can make it in the league and do something with that. So this season and next.
I mean, and he's still, and don't get me wrong, he is still super young. He's
May
younger
make an
than I
all-star
am.
team.
He may make the all-star team this year. He may do a lot. But looking forward at the path that we want him to go down, I think, what he's doing right now is what he's done his first 2 years, which is he's hit the occasional open shot. He's had a couple really good games that make you go, wow, this guy could be really good. But he needs to, for him to take the next step, I don't think he can take the next step playing the exact same game he's playing right now, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I don't think he can become what the Pacers want him to be, what fans want him to be, what he thinks he can be in this league if he keeps the same type of game. I think he has to add, look at Cat. He is he's starting to add that 3-point game, but man, he's not a very good defender, but he is really effective down low. He's a good offensive rebounder. I mean, that's another thing. Offensive rebounding, 5%, so the same type of stat. So an estimate of the percentage of available offensive rebounds a player grabbed while he's on the floor, 5%, 6%, 8%.
Yeah, but is that partially because they draw him out for pick and rolls? He's not in the paint to be there to initiate the contact. Boxes the man out.
To piggyback on some of the stuff you were saying, I was thinking about the Pelicans game is a great example. You see 2 of the premier bigs in the league, especially Anthony Davis. He can step out and shoot the jumper like Myles can, but he also rolls to the basket hard. He had a handful of pick and rolls where he rolls, got the ball, dunked it, got the ball, went to the rim. Myles had a couple rolls to the rim, but it was him creating the shot, and he doesn't attack the rim like a big guy when you watch him. He kind of it's almost like a guard. He'll fade from contact. He'll scoop it or things like that. I want to see him go up. Don't care about contact. Absorb it or try to absorb it. Go to the line or something like that. Maybe he'll never develop post moves. Today's NBA, you may not need that, but we just like to see someone who can be okay and hold their own, especially your center down in the paint like that. Yeah, he's got some development to do.
And just to compare, I mean, those defense rebounding percentages, those are decently average, but considering he's the only real big man on the court most of the time, because Thad's not really a big man, he's more of like a stretch 4. But just to give you some comparison on those offensive rebound percentage numbers, Jan Mahinmi, for 4 out of the last 7 seasons, he's averaged over 10% of those offensive rebounds compared to Myles 4. Roy Hibbert, during his career, that same patch, during his all-star years, 12.5%, 15%, 10%, 9%. So even guys that we looked back in the past and said, oh no, Myles Turner is better than those guys, he needs to get himself more involved in the physical aspects of the game. They help his teammates. They help open up the game for himself, for more open shots. Even if it's just to give him more open jump shots, he has to develop some sort of game that will affect the game down low. And until he does that, he's going to limit himself. He'll have good games when he finds himself in the groove. Otherwise, it's going to have some stretches where it's just like, man, what is going on? But
come on, Popeye.
Woo! That was my rant zone.
Very nice.
I love you, Myles.
I love you, Myles. Yeah. Just figure that out.
Figure it out.
You got time, man.
You got time. We believe in you. You're going to get paid here. Next year, you're going to get paid. So just make it happen.
That's when the real pressure starts.
So the real pressure starts. Actually, I mean, that's when you're like, I just got paid.
Yeah. Well, from the fans' perspective.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just a brief, Ross, where can they follow us?
You can follow us on Twitter, and they can follow us on Instagram. We post lots of stuff there.
Also, if you want to listen to us, Google, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and then also YouTube. If you want to watch us, if you're watching it right now, like and subscribe. Give us comments. We have a few people who comment frequently, Mostly
You
just
are.
mostly just to dog us because they think the Pistons are better than us, but that's about it.
Lastly, just a quick reminder, if you're listening to this Thursday, plan for Sunday. If you want to stop by Coach's Tavern around 9 p.m., we'll be doing our show with Pat Boylan and Jeremiah Johnson, and it'll be a fun time, probably about 9 to almost 10, and love to have you stop by. But thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you Sunday.
Go Pacers.
Peace.